know, especially in high school and middle school, these kids think they can do everything better. They are never going to get caught unprepared. And so when we read To Build a Fire and the protagonist makes some errors and he has some unlucky incidents and is not successful. I don't want to be a spoiler, but he dies. Okay? So they want to say, no, I wouldn't have died. I would have survived. Here's what I would have done. So I want to say, really, you think you could have done better? So to kind of do a little experiment, we take the bucket, and what we're going to do is be testing manual dexterity. And so the first thing we do is you're going to fill your bucket with enough water to submerge your foot. Okay, so one person at each table do that. Put some water. You have a sink. You can fill with water.
Do you want these objects in it?
The objects stay in it, please. And Miss Jackson, can you hand me the thermometers, please? Thank you. And I'll let you pass it out on the stove.
Imagine it covered.
All right. Right now, Mr. Wayland is bringing around a thermometer. So here's another little lesson for our students. A lot of them don't realize this is a thermometer. They're using digital thermometers. So one thing we have to do is we have a lesson in how to read a thermometer. Then, one of the things I do is I have 2 data collection sheets. Now you might think, well, why am I spending so much time on science in a language arts class? But I promise that they listen and they get excited about this lesson. They're like, oh good, we get to do something different. So I have a data collection sheet that just has them measuring room temperature and the ice water and then the class average. So they're going to put their name in and they're going to say, how many items they got at what temperature. Over here on this sheet, they're actually going to record how many things they can get out of the bucket. Now, so the first thing you want to do, I didn't get all these back. So one thing you're going to do is take your thermometer, submerge it in the water, just dip the end in the water, and then read the temperature, because as soon as you take it out of the water, it registers differently. So check and see what your temperature is, and then write that down somewhere. They're a little bit hard to read for mature eyes. Yeah. All right, once you get that measured, remove the thermometer, and I would actually have each student do this because it's more fun if it's their own data. Okay? It's much more fun if it's their own data. So each person takes off a shoe and a sock, and then somebody's going to need to be a timekeeper, so you probably have a phone at your lab table. You're going to put your foot in the water, and then for 30 seconds you're going to count and see how many items you can get out of the water with your toes. Okay? So just somebody at your table is going to be the timekeeper.
I'll do that.
Okay? All right, try this one. This part, there's nothing to watch. You might want to log in. Okay, so one person at each group. Time for 30 seconds. You should have a towel at your table. I'll bring some towels around. Get out as many as you can in 30 seconds.
Now where are we supposed to do?
Here, scoot back just a little so she can. Yeah, let me get a few more things. I don't think you cut, you're supposed to have 10 items in there.
Come on, like you did. Okay, ready? What's it gonna do? Hurry! Get off my toe!
Time's up, she's out.
They're still doing it.
Well, they timed at a different time. Yeah, all right. Did you get them all?
No, 7.
Oh, I would have gotten them all. They're standing up, baby.
All right, that is awesome.
7.5.
I'm gonna have to walk right across. Yes, that'd be great. Wonderful, you guys did a great job. You followed directions. No, not before time was called.
Well, one's only one. So we got 7.
All right, now, so then we talk about how when things are at room temperature, we're saying this was room temperature water, how our manual dexterity is just normal.
Now I get cramps in my face.
Well, what you just did is you took your, what do I want to call this? My, oh, I just lost the term. This is going to be your baseline, okay? This is what you do.
That's your
Your benchmark, okay? Your what? Get my control group is what I'm looking for.
Oh.
Okay, it's your control group. So everybody in your group at this point would have tested to see how many you could get out. Since we are a little bit short on time, you can put all your pieces back in your bucket. You want all your pieces back in the bucket.
Nice.
Now, you should have some ice. Now, in class, I would have really made sure that they have plenty of ice because we want it really cold. Before you do anything, you need to take the temperature of the ice water. So, take the temperature of your ice water and write it down.
Oh, I saw red.
We can't determine this.
How long do you want it? How low do you want it?
I just want you to see what it is for you. We had earlier, a lot of people got about 13 degrees Celsius, somewhere like that. You might not have enough. Okay, that's good.
And
So that, what do we do?
Now, the rules change a little bit. You'll want to listen carefully. This time, once you get the temperature recorded, before you start, you're going to submerge your foot in the water for 40 seconds.
no.
You cannot start picking out things until you've submerged your foot for 40 seconds. It is cold, but you can do it. So as soon as you're ready, then after 40 seconds, time yourself and see how many you can get out in 30 seconds.
She's right here.
Okay, so I'm gonna get.
You guys.
These hard objects.
Phoebe, it was very relevant. 20 seconds left. No cheating.
Is she terrible? Now we're on camera.
8 seconds left.
That's not 40 seconds.
Okay, now.
Oh, shoot.
Are your toes working as well?
Do it.
Oh God, they're not working very well, your toes. Oh, you got it.
I gotta get these objects. They're floating around better.
Toes already turned back.
5 seconds.
Please, I can't get out of the bucket.
Same amount, you had you had one less. Okay.
I have more.
Well, you're exceptional.
I
She was mad. Oh, she was mad. Determination now.
It felt like it was tougher. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay. Once you get your data written down, how many you got that time, if you would bring your drain the water out of your bucket at your sink, don't lose your little pieces. Then we'll bring them back over here and then we'll discuss what we would do with this lesson and how we would use that and what you're going to do in your classroom.